Today, we're going to be diving into a topic that causes so much confusion in the space of working animals, and that's the difference between service animals, therapy animals, emotional support animals, and facility animals. As a leader in 2 international therapy animal organizations, I see confusion on this topic all of the time, and it's so important that the animal-loving community comes together to get clarity on these roles so we can advocate for these different kinds of animals. If you're interested in having your own pet become a therapy or facility animal, make sure you stick around until the end. I'll tell you how.
My name is Dr. Taylor Chastain Griffin, and I've dedicated my life to studying the human-animal bond. With a background as a dog trainer, mental health counselor, researcher, and therapy animal expert, my mission is to show others what happens when we become the people our dogs think we are.
Let's start with a simple question that can help you distinguish the difference between these roles, and that's who is the animal serving? If the animal is serving their owner or their handler, then they are going to be a service animal or an emotional support animal. Those animals have a one-to-one relationship. Therapy and facility animals, on the other hand, have a one-to-many relationship. When I'm out with my therapy animals, their job is not to support me, but to support the many people who we encounter in our work together. So let's start with some definitions. First, what is a therapy animal? At the end of the day, a therapy animal is a pet, but they're pets who've been evaluated on their ability to safely interact with a wide range of populations in many different settings. They might visit with their handlers in places like hospitals, schools, nursing homes, libraries, and their handler could either be a volunteer who's donating their time or a professional like a mental health counselor, occupational therapist, or physical therapist who's incorporating their animal into a formal treatment plan. What's important is how that team obtained the title of a therapy animal. They should have participated in an objective third-party evaluation that reoccurs every couple of years, and they should belong to an organization that aligns with the field's best practices. So what about a facility animal? If you have any level of familiarity with the therapy animal world, you've likely heard that term. Many hospitals call their animals facility animals. Well, this is a type of therapy animal with specific training so that they can stay in a facility for longer periods of time. If it's a dog, then it still has a dedicated owner who it goes home with, and other facility animals might be animals like fish or even cats at senior living facilities. They provide therapeutic interactions to people other than their handler. This all brings up another question about facility and therapy animals, and that's, do they have special rights of access? Can they go with their handlers into any place in the public setting? The answer is no. These animals need to be invited in. It's up to their handler to describe the work that they do and get that invitation to come into the public setting. So what is a service animal? These are probably the most well-known kind of working animal. Service animals are animals who have been trained to perform a task related to their handler's disability. This might be a dog who helps someone who's visually impaired, an animal who alerts to a medical condition, an animal who assists with mobility or grabs an item for their handler, or even a psychiatric service animal who lets their handler who has PTSD know about an elevated anxious state. Service animals are most often dogs, but they can also be miniature horses, and it's so important to keep in mind, there is no single national registry for service animals. I often worry people get taken advantage of in this space. This doesn't require that you purchase a service animal for a lot of money, though there are some really wonderful organizations that match people with service animals out there. There's just many pathways to working towards a service animal as long as that handler has a legitimate disability and the animal has been trained to perform a task related to that disability. Finally, let's talk about emotional support animals, also known as ESAs. This is an area that's received a lot more attention over the past decade, and unfortunately, it's notorious for a lack of regulation. ESAs are simply pets who are intended to provide at-home support to their handlers. These pets are to help people who otherwise wouldn't have access to the benefits of pet ownership have a pet in their home. For example, someone who's renting a house that would otherwise have a no pets policy might partner with their licensed mental health provider to get an ESA letter so that they can have their pet. Remember, ESAs should not be going out into public settings. They should not be on planes, trains, and restaurants. They're intended to stay home. If someone has a disability that requires them to take that pet into public settings, then they need to investigate the option of having the animal become a psychiatric service animal. No matter what kind of animal you're working with, a service animal, therapy animal, facility animal, or emotional support animal, it's so important that we've picked the right animal for the role. These animals shouldn't simply tolerate their roles, but they should thrive in them. They should have a strong relationship with their handler, and they should have the right temperament for what we're asking them to do. In my line of work, we often see career change animals, dogs who started off in service dog training, but then were just too flirtatious, wanted to meet too many people when they were out in public, and they switch over to becoming a therapy dog. We want to select these animals based on how they naturally interact with the world around them. Are you looking to get involved in this kind of work? I hope so, because we need more therapy and facility animals in the world. If you're looking to volunteer with your pet, check out Pet Partners, the world's leading therapy animal organization that provides education, evaluation, and insurance for people who are going to volunteer and share the love of their pet in their communities. If you're a professional who's interested in integrating a therapy or facility animal into your vocational practice, check us out at the Association of Animal Assisted Intervention Professionals, or AAAIP. We provide education, certification, and best practices for every step along your journey.